Did you know that AKB48 had a collaboration in Mexico?
Detrás de lo que comparten hay una historia que no es. Descúbrela en Nike. Gran estreno el domingo 14 de octubre a las 7:06 Centro por Univisión. Ciudad Atomic, it's Mareko Sagasturi. Siga Tito en Live 10:6:30.
Yeah, so back in 2017, at the end of the Kohaku Utekasen concert, they had this big announcement that AKB48 was going to have a collaboration with a Mexican producer called Pedro Damian, who is very, very famous in Mexico for making teenage shows, telenovelas. But he became even more popular, even more famous for making a group called Rebelde or RBD, which is a really, really, really popular group in South America. Anyway, so he was going to have a collaboration with AKB48. Apparently, he and Akimoto-san already knew each other for a while, and he was very interested in the AKB48 concept. I did hear that there was a rumor that he wanted to make a Mexican 48 because of the whole thing of like, the rules of AKB48, there was going to be only girls, and it had to be this, and it had to be tied to the AKS company, and it has to be part of the group. Because of all that, he didn't make it like that, and he made his own, and so he was looking for the next Rebelde. So so they had a collaboration. They talked with Akimoto-san. They made the announcement in 2017, and from then Akimoto-san and his team, so the company for AKB48, AKS back then, and they looked at all of the members in every single 48 group, and then they handpicked a bunch, and from that bunch, they gave it to Pedro Damian and his team to cast who the member will be. And they all say that as soon as they saw this member, she had to be the one. Like as soon as they saw her, she was right. They were all right or die for her. So there was no competition at all. As soon as they saw her, they chose her, and that member was Iriyama Anna. They say that as soon as they saw Iriyama Anna, they knew that she had to be part of this group. So fast forward to 2018, they announced all of the fans and all the members that Anna Iriyama was gonna be the girl who was gonna go to Mexico to be part of la telenovela and this whole thing they're gonna do in Mexico. It was announced at the end of the AKB48 exam, which I think they only did once. They didn't do it again. But yeah, at the end of that event, they announced that Anna was gonna go to Mexico, and then at the end of that, they had the whole interviews and TV from both Japan and Mexico interviewing her about this whole thing. And she went to Mexico for 1 year to film the telenovela and be part of the music group that was coming from the telenovela. They did have a small segment in their Setama Super Arena concert for a send-off for Anna. It was very nice. All the members were like singing a farewell song, and then Anna went from the main stage to the front stage, saying bye to all the members, and then she said a little thing in Spanish, and then everyone say bye bye, and then she went off to her next adventure. It was a really nice segment that they had just for her, because it was a really, really huge move. So yes, the production for the telenovela had already started filming, so she only came to the filming set like way after. This whole project was gonna be like a everyone casted in this project was gonna be from different countries, so there were people from different countries around the world, and Anna was the Japanese member from this lineup, and she was gonna be like apart from the main cast, she was gonna be the main girl from one of the main girls for this whole collaboration, and the group was formed of 4 guys and 4 girls. So the main cast was formed by Roberta Damian, Ale Muller, Macarena Garcia, Carlos Said, Mauricio Abad, Santiago Achaga, and Victor Barona. there were 8 people, 4 girls and 4 guys, and Anna was part of them. Uh, they were all from different places in the world. Also, Roberta Damian was actually Pedro Damian's daughter. So there was a whole no scandal, but a whole gossip stuff about it because she put his own daughter in the show, and she was part. She was the main girl, and she was part of the main band. So there is a whole drama with everything. I'm gonna get to it, so just wait. Anyway, so the telenovela was gonna be 2 seasons. A second season was confirmed, but because of money and because the project actually flopped completely, like was really bad, they just ended at 97 episodes and they only had 1 season. It was officially canceled on the 14th of November 2018. And I totally understand it. I totally agree. I'll get my comments at the end. Anyway, let's keep on looking at my notes. So the first episode of the telenovela was aired on the 10th of September 2018 in Canal de las Estrellas and ended on the 20th of January 2019. The name of the telenovela was Like. That was the name of the telenovela. Like la leyenda, which means like the legend. It was a very cheesy name. I have to say it was a really cheesy name. Apparently, LIKE stands for Life Institute of Knowledge and Evolution. But like also at that time in history, the word like was very used for teens to be so like oh like that or like oh like was like a very trendy thing. But by the time that the novella came out, like the word like had already become very tacky and a very outdated. So it felt like very outdated. And Like La Leyenda was the name of the telenovela, and it was also the name of the band. In the 22nd of July 2018, the band itself, the 4 girls and the 4 boys, debuted their song Este Movimiento. I think that was the name of the song. Este Movimiento. Anyway, the band debuted in Premios Juventud, and that's where they had the first performance, and that was Anna's first performance as in Mexico, singing in Spanish and everything. It was interesting. So as I mentioned before, Irayama Anna did join the cast after the filming had already started, so she doesn't show up until episode 27. So if you want to look it up, actually the whole telenovela is available on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. It's available on YouTube, so you can go there. Episode 27, at the very last minute of episode 27, she shows up. So her character was of a Japanese girl who moved to Mexico because she wanted something new, but she was like super secretive and nobody knew anything about her. And also, on top of that, she didn't know any Spanish. She didn't speak any Spanish. She didn't understand Spanish, so she would always talk with her translator. And she was a mysterious type, but she was also very crazy. And her name was Keiko. That was her name. So she showed up on episode 27 at the very end. And yeah, she was actually quite good. But there was probably like a misunderstanding, a different clash of cultures because Pedro Damian did mention before, like a long time ago, from I remember, I couldn't find it again, but he did mention that Anna actually like ran away from the set. She ran away from the set and she escaped to like the US without telling anyone. And then she came back for filming and everything was fine. But from I remember, he said that on an interview. I will understand it. She doesn't know the language and the culture is completely different. But yeah, so episode 27, she's right there. And yeah, she also had like a really steamy kiss scene. It was interesting. It was completely different. I mean, it's Mexico, so Mexico, the kiss scenes are like very intense for telenovelas. But in Japan, if you see a Japanese drama, the kisses are like touch. That's it. So it was very interesting, and it was like a whole thing. It was interesting. It was interesting. So the telenovela took place in a school, and it was all about the stories of different teenage kids. Um, but it was like rich teenage kids, and also like some poor people in there to spice it up. And also the thing is, like, it was also filmed in the exact same location as Rebelde was filmed. Also, the first episode of Like La Leyenda was also exactly the same as the first entrance, the introduction of every single cast was also exactly the same as Rebelde, la telenovela. So he was really pushing it with like trying to have the Rebelde concept as a new concept, but with something different. So because of that, a lot of the Rebelde fans, OG Rebelde fans, were like really, really against this telenovela. So they were both boycotting it, most of it. Um, yeah, so every episode will talk about different struggles that teenagers go through at that age. So it will be talk about sex, it will talk about drugs, it will talk about alcohol, it will talk about divorced parents, it will talk about sexuality, it will talk about all of that. I did watch the first few episodes because of Anna. I have to admit. Okay, so this is my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. Pedro Damian is very famous, very popular. However, no people know. No, most people who started watching him don't know this, but all of he thinks that the things that he's produced in Mexico are actually not his idea. Rebelde, he produced Rebelde. He produced Lola Eres de una vez. I think he produced Chiquititas. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I think he did it as well. Anyway, the thing is, like, all of his big name telenovelas that he did are actually he bought them from an Argentinian producer called Chris Morena. She is the one who made Floricienta and R-Way and Chiquititas and different Argentinian shows that are mainly from Argentina. So the group that he made, Rebelde, RBD, that group is actually a copy of the original, which is R-Way or Rebelde Way by the Mexican producer Chris Morena. So that's the original. And the only thing that Pedro Damian did was buy the rights to make the Mexican version. And the only difference between the two is that R-Way has 4 members, 2 girls, 2 boys, and Rebelde has 3 boys, 3 girls. And the songs are different. But everything else is exactly the same. So I don't think he and his team can make a hit from scratch. I don't think he can do. I don't think he could do that. He was only able to make it big because he used someone else's concept and someone else's ideas and someone else's everything, and he make it his own. But this Light Leyenda he was trying to make it exactly similar to Rebelde, but he just couldn't do it. I saw the first few episodes, as I say, and it felt very, very cringe. Very, very cringe. It felt like all the writers for Like La Leyenda were like 40-year-old men, 40, 50-year-old men who really wanted to appeal to kids. You know, like when you are like 15 and then your father goes like, oh, psych, 6-7 or skibidi, you know what I mean? Like when your 40-year-old father tries to say all the teenage slang to you, or what he thinks that teenage slang is. That's what it felt like on a few episodes. Also, like the main cast, the main cast, I did not like any of them at all. They were very unlikable. They were mostly billions. How do you call it? The evil guys. And they were so arrogant and so annoying. I just couldn't like any of the main cast. I liked Anna because she's Anna. And also, she was the most fun member. Like she was the crazy one. And because she didn't speak Spanish, she wasn't that. She was like, it was very quirky, you know. She was very quirky, but the main cast, there was no one likable in that cast. So when the telenovela got canceled, they did try to continue the band, like the music group. But the problem was that, in my opinion, the problem was that back then, at that time, reggaeton and perreo, the kind of music was really, really, really popular with youth back then. So when they first debuted, their first debut song was actually a reggaeton song, but they were also trying to to target the rebelde audience, but there was a very huge difference between that song and what Rebelde used to do. Rebelde used to be like more pop and rock kind of music, but like was pushing all of their reggaeton songs. So like the first song and the second main song, when they were starting to 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 go out and introduce themselves to everyone, they will push all the reggaeton songs. But also the thing is like at that time most of the reggaeton and perreo songs were really really heavy on drinking and sex and hookups. Like that was the lyrics of the songs of that kind of music back then in the beginning. But like La Leyenda, their music was more because most of the members in the group were underage. It was mostly like romance, and it was perreo, it was reggaeton, it just didn't match. And the audience that they were looking for just didn't like the music. Just didn't like the music at all. I didn't like the music at all either. Um, Also, like the difference between Rebelde, La Novela, and like La Novela, telenovela, was that in Rebelde or RW, the original, actually the band, the music group, was a very huge part of the novela from the start and from the beginning of the first few episodes of the novela. It was like part of the group, being in the group and the music and every single song in the telenovela from the group was like something specific from the telenovela. Like so, whenever you see a telenovela, you will always get associated to the music. You will know the music because like they will have something to do with the music. So the music and the telenovela were like one on one. However, for Like La Leyenda, the music was not at all linked to the telenovela at all. So like you would only listen to the music in the start and maybe for the opening credits, and then maybe a like background song from like a novela for that very very long time. And I actually dropped it. I didn't stop watching it because I just couldn't. It was too boring, too annoying. But I don't think that like they ever focused on the music at all. It was mainly about the story of the people in the school, and it was nothing about the music. So from what the little bit that I watched, the music was never mentioned. The music group was there. Only one guy who was high on drugs. He loved music, and that's the only thing that I remember from that. So like the first few episodes, that is where people would actually be interested in the show or the group. The band was never mentioned, and I don't think it was ever mentioned like at all. They were just friends in a school, and I don't even think they liked each other. um, and the group was itself. So it just flopped completely. It was really really bad. There was also a lot of gossip and drama in that time with about the producer. There was a gossip about the producer Pedro Demian trying to date one of the main cast, one of the girls, but both of them denied it completely because she was also like young. He's like 40, like more than 40. Um, so they completely deny it. Also, like Pedro Demian's daughter, as I mentioned before, she was in the main cast, and there was also like a huge scandal that they only casted her because she was the producer's daughter, and that's why she's there, and she's the main girl only because of that. And there were also like a lot of scandals because they were trying to copy the Rebelde thing, but it's not Rebelde. So there was a lot. So they weren't able to get enough funding, and they canceled the show, and that was it. That was the end of it. There was no more. It was sad. It could have been like huge. It could have been huge had they had a different team writing the novella. and had they actually focused on the music, uh, to, had they focused the music onto the novela, if had they put them together like they did with Rebelde Way and Rebelde, probably the music for the band would have actually keep on going, but it just there was no connection. It was really bad. I watched it. It was really really bad. Like I understand what they were trying to do and the message they were trying to get out, but it was just not done properly. It was done really cringy, really bad. The music was horrible. The music that they were promoting was horrible, but the music that we never heard was actually quite fine. As I mentioned before, you can go to the um, Spotify or whatever, and you can search for like La Leyenda, and you'll find it there. So if you ever wanna if you ever wanna hear Irayama Ana speak and sing in Spanish, you can go there because she sings in Spanish. Um, Also, something that I wanted to mention because it's something that actually made me really angry when it happened. Um, was the racist scandal that happened between one of the main girls. I'm not gonna say who. Actually, probably the picture is right here, right now. Anyway, so this girl who was in the main cast, who was the main girl of the group, she wrote on her Twitter, amigos, me está costando mucho ingerir alimentos japoneses. Siento que estoy comiendo perro y ratas y así. Se los quería contar. So that's actually a very racist thing that she said. Like, and the thing is, like, she said it, and then when people call her out for it, even I called her out for it because I was really angry with that. Even when she was called out for it, she was like, no, don't worry, it's just a joke, like I'm just saying. And she like doubled down on what she was saying. She didn't even apologize. She just deleted it, and she's like, oh, it was a joke. That's what she said, and she deleted it, and nobody really talked about it. So I'm gonna tell you what she said in English. What she said: friends, me está costando mucho ingerir alimentos japoneses. It's really hard for me to eat Japanese food. Siento que estoy comiendo perros y ratas y eso. It feels like I'm eating dogs and rats and stuff like that. Solo los quería contar. Se los quería contar. I just wanted to tell you that. And then Anna was like, Anna replied to that saying, por los japoneses no comen eso, which means why the Japanese people don't eat that. That was like, I was so angry when I saw that because she's like, Iriyama, she's like literally right there. She's like her co-star. Like they work together every day, and that was when they were filming in Japan for the very last episodes, where the very last episode was focused on Anna and her backstory of Keiko about getting married to some guy. She was being forced to marry this other guy. Anyway, so they all went to Japan to film, and that's where they got they actually all of them actually filmed in the AKB48 theater as well. They sang and they performed in the theater. You might be seeing clips of it right now. Yeah, that made me really really pissed off, really angry. I was like so disappointed at her, and I felt bad for Anna as well. Anyway, that happened a long time ago. Doesn't matter. I just felt like I should say something about it. Don't say that. How could you say that? Anyway, I know it doesn't reflect on the Mexican people. It only reflects on her. I don't know anything about that actress anymore. I think she's still doing novelas. But the thing is also like the whole cast of the La Leyenda. I don't think that any of them actually made it big. They just like did some few roles as some characters in different telenovelas. After that, Ana Iriyama came back to AKB48 and she was fluent in Spanish. And also you can notice that her confidence and her whole attitude actually changed. She was more confident when she spoke. And she also opened her own YouTube channel where you can actually go there. She doesn't film anymore, but she has her own YouTube channel of her traveling around Mexico and trying food and new experiences in Mexico. And it's all fully in Spanish. So you can go and search it, and you can see her. She looked like she enjoyed herself a lot. Now I think Anna is doing she's still acting. Um, she's doing some dramas, but I think she's doing mostly theater shows after she graduated from AKB, like theater acting. Um, but yeah, that's what happened. Also, something that I did find out about Mexico and AKB48, just like a little thing that now that we're in the topic, I wanted to mention this. There was a copy of us. They copied a song. There is a very very old group called Las Famosas Inalcanzables. They actually made they stole. I would say stole. I would say stole because nobody ever said anything about it. They just took it. They took the song Bikina and they made their own version of it in a very like traditional like uh, I don't know how you call it in Spanish. There is a type of music, ranchera music. But they did a song Bikina in a Mexican style, and they call it Shampoo para tus ojos. And the lyrics for the and the lyrics for that song were very very raunchy and sexy and talking about like, oh, I'm so sexy and like I'm like shampoo for your eyes, like look at me, I'm we're the sexiest girls, you know. That was the whole lyrics for their version of Bikina. It was interesting, I would say. Oh yeah, and then that's it. That's it. I'm gonna say the video is so long, and I feel like I'm really bad with talking, but I still want to talk about the AKB48 history, and it took me a while to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any more questions or anything else you want me to tell, to anything else you want to tell me about this that I didn't know, that I didn't mention, please leave it in the comments. I would love to know more about what happened. Also, yeah, and yeah, I'm be happy to answer any questions that you have as long as I know the answers for it. So just leave me the comment, leave it in the comments. Tell me anyway. So yeah, that's it. That's it for today. So next time for the next AKB48 history video, we have two topics. One will be about AKB48 and Disney. They have like a small collaboration with Disney, and there was even a movie. We can talk about that, or we can talk about AKB48 in anime. So AKB48 had their own anime, and they also appeared in a couple of different animes. So yeah, I'll leave it to you to choose. So pick. I'll leave a poll somewhere around here. You can choose which one you want me to talk about next time, and I'm gonna take I'll leave it in the comments. Leave it in the comments, and I will take the votes from TikTok, Instagram, RedNote, and YouTube. I will take all those votes, and the one who has the more interest, I'm gonna talk about on the next AKB48 history video. So yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Leave me a comment, and don't forget to share this video somewhere else, because we should expand the knowledge about AKB48. So yeah, that's it for me. And I'll see you again another time. So bye bye.